Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Dom, and I'm here with Anthony. This is the A Word. We decided to prolong this week's podcast because, well, yesterday's podcast would have been filled with WWDC predictions, which would have immediately been irrelevant and wrong, probably based on my how I guess things, probably wrong as of today. So we felt it was easier to just do the podcast post WWDC, to make sure that all of our predictions weren't wrong and we can just give you correct information. So
basically, we're going to come back next week and tell you all about it. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, right?
After Friday, when WWDC ends.
Yeah.
So you don't get to hear anything until then.
Exactly. Yes. So we will see you guys next week. Thank you for listening. No,
Check us out on YouTube.
Just kidding. So anyway, Apple unveiled iOS 7.
Yeah.
And now that's not the only thing they let loose, but
they let the cat out of the bag.
You stole my dude. I was totally about to just say that right now.
My bad.
I
didn't know.
Or did they put the cat in the bag?
Oh, they put it in a box and shipped it off to somewhere.
Yeah, they put it in a box and shipped it off to Foxconn.
I didn't mean to steal your.
No, it was so funny though, because I know that's fine. I don't care if you stole that. That's perfect. Because that was exactly what I was. I was like, I was leading into that too. It's just like trying to set it up.
It just made sense.
It did make sense, and that's why I commend you for stealing that, even though you didn't know that you stole it. So technically, you didn't steal it, but there is an entirely different look and feel to iOS 7. If you have not seen it,
it's pretty cool,
It's way different, okay? There's actually a preview page on Apple's website where you can go check out what's hot and new in iOS 7, but it's definitely a different beast. It's pretty crazy. All of the icons have a different design. The entire user interface is different. Everything from the, pretty much it's everything that we've been talking about for the last few weeks, but now it's official. There's no felt in Game Center. There's no leather textures anywhere. Everything is just kind of, I wouldn't even really call it flat. It's not flat. See, the thing is everybody's like, oh, it's going to be flat, but I clearly see gradients in these icons. So, for one, it is definitely not flat. And two, there's still textures on certain things. So there's certain types of textures, but they got rid of, in my opinion, they got rid of a lot of the corny stuff. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But some people may disagree with that.
They added some new corny stuff, which is cool.
Exactly. They did add some new corny stuff. But some people may disagree with the fact that the leather and stuff was corny, but that's just my take on it. I always thought it was kind of corny, but that also added to its usability because it put textures and things that people were used to into, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it kind of gave you a familiar sense of life, like in iOS with all the textures and stuff. Familiar sense of life inside of there.
That's what their slogan should be.
iOS
7.
A familiar sense of life. No. I'm talking about like iOS, all the iOS versions prior to this. But yeah, it was pretty interesting. And you guys, if at any point throughout this, or if you're listening to this off of iTunes later on, if you have any questions or comments, tweet at MacMixing. Also, real quick, I'm going to sidetrack from WWDC stuff. My theme has been released on Cydia, so if you want to check it out, it's called Colorific. You can find it. It's in the Mac City repo for 99 cents. You can grab it there, and it's just kind of my take on simplicity, I guess you would say. It's just simple and soft is kind of the slogan for that. So nice little plug for myself there. Go check out my theme. It's in Cydia. It's called Colorific with a C. It's available for 99 cents.
Hey, Dom.
Huh?
Do you have an outlet where I can plug my phone into? Never mind.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't as good.
It wasn't that good, no.
Anyway.
I tried to fake laugh, but...
it just didn't work.
Yeah. So, okay, there's something interesting that I want to talk about, and we can't, obviously, we don't have time to get to all the features in iOS 7 in this little podcast, but I will have video overviews of the new features of iOS 7 coming up here pretty soon, so stay tuned to the channel for that, youtube.com/MacMixing. But also, Apple has implemented quite a few jailbreak tweaks into iOS 7.
Yep.
So, for example, now you can pull down the notification center from the lock screen. That's a tweak that is a feature that quite a few different there's a couple different tweaks that add that feature to iOS devices, and it's basically it basically doesn't have anything. I mean, it doesn't matter anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people can do that now on iOS 7 when it's released in the fall, which is pretty amazing. I mean, some of these features that they added are going to make it so, going to take people away from jailbreaking, I think, because like, okay, for example, they have this new control center, right? And a control center is basically what you would think about is basically SB settings. So if you've used SB settings where you have toggles and stuff like that, that is what this does.
And it
gives you toggles. It gives you quick access to like airplane mode, Wi-Fi, do not disturb, and all you do is swipe up from the bottom of the screen
from anywhere
in
right?
iOS. You could be browsing, in Safari. You could be in the music app, whatever.
Now, I wonder if you can do that while you're on a phone call.
I don't know.
We'll have to find out.
We will have to find out. But you have so you have settings toggles, you have a brightness control in there, you have media controls, AirPlay options, and then you have apps. Now I'm guessing that you can switch out those apps with whatever you want.
That would be cool.
I don't know. They didn't say, but right now all they show there is they show a flashlight toggle. They have Safari, I believe, calculator, and then the camera. So I'm pretty sure you might be able to switch out those apps. That would make a lot of sense. But of course, Apple does things really well and then does something that doesn't make any sense at all. So we'll find out when we have the beta to check out. So other things too. Okay, there's a new feature like the App Store will automatically update your apps in iOS 7,
Yes.
so you don't have to touch that. That's kind of cool. At the same time, I kind of like the control, and I hope that there's a way to disable that.
Yeah.
Because updating apps gives me something to do.
Well, and sometimes I just don't want that update.
Or updates are crappy. Yeah, exactly.
You just don't want the update.
There's been an update for the Facebook Pages app before that I skipped because it was buggy and crashed for everybody. And I was like, oh, I'm not updating that right now. So
hopefully you could have some sort of options.
Yeah, I do hope that there's a way for that. Also, this is a feature actually that Apple announced in 2011 for Lion. It's called AirDrop, and allows you to drag and drop files between computers on the same connected Wi-Fi network. So, connected to the same Wi-Fi network. So basically what you can do is you can drag, this picture or video or whatever from one computer to another in the Finder window in the AirDrop section, and it'll load up. They'll have to accept the file transfer on their computer, and it'll transfer over. Well, Apple has integrated that into iOS 7 now. So
Which is really awesome.
Drag and drop a file from your Mac to your iPhone or, whatever. I don't know if you can... I guess you could probably do it from your iPhone to your iPhone to another phone. Yeah,
iPhone to iPhone.
But it's pretty cool. It does definitely give it kind of I don't know. It just opens up sharing a little better. You know what I mean? Like instead of having to message stuff to people or whatever.
Yeah, it's the extra steps.
I do that all the time. If I want to send because I do a lot of stuff with screenshots, in reviews and stuff like that. I always have to iMessage them to myself from here. So I can just drag a group of them into AirDrop and poof, right on my iPhone. Pretty awesome, in my opinion. And also, multitasking has been completely reworked in iOS to extend battery life, and the app switcher is totally different now.
The app switcher is...
It's actually a jailbreak tweak.
It's to my understanding an older jailbreak tweak, really old.
It does look like a jailbreak tweak. This is something that's not surprising for them to take. I don't know how the developers of said tweaks feel about it, but I would think that that's like an honorary thing.
Very honor.
As much as it sucks, it's definitely kind of cool that.
It's like somebody up high saw your design and liked it.
But then at the same time, you get zero credit for it.
True.
So not really that that great.
Bragging rights,
My contact is messing up. Okay, so but yeah, if you look at the the multitask switcher for iOS 7, it is totally different. And let's go ahead and go to...
It's nice, though. It's not a bad difference.
No, it's cool. So basically, you double press the home button, and you get little screenshots that pop up, and then you can swipe up to dismiss them. If you want to close out of an app, just swipe up on the screenshot, and it'll go away. And surprisingly, it combines, I believe, let me see if I can Google this real quick. Mission Board Pro. Let me find an image here. Okay, so that's not what I was thinking about, but that's kind of similar. Mission Board Pro was one.
Yeah.
There's another one.
No, there was a really old one that
There's
I remember.
Dash. Dash is what this kind of reminds me of.
Yeah.
See how you can swipe between the things. And I'm Googling, so this is totally irrelevant for audio. but see that? Like how that's in a little screenshot? Yeah, I mean basically they took a few different tweaks. I don't know if they intentionally took them, but my guess would be yes. They took a few different tweaks and they combined them together.
Yeah.
To make this new multitasking app switcher in iOS 7.
Good.
No, it looks clean. I mean, now here's the thing, and wait, I don't know if we were talking about this. We didn't talk about this on the podcast yet, but everybody was like, "Oh my gosh, iOS 7 is going to be so flat."
Yeah.
But did we just talk about that? About how there's gradients? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm tired, you guys. Sorry. So another thing that is really cool here is the notification center in iOS 7 has been revamped to have 3 new sections. So at the top of the notification center, you'll see that you have a Today section, which allows you to easily browse through what's happening, in that day. Maybe you have birthdays, you have calendar events, stuff like that. Then you have an All section for the notification center that will list all of your notifications in a row, and then you have a Missed section, which if for the obvious term there is missed. It'll show you any missed notifications, which is pretty cool. And I'm just going to hop through all these features because we don't have a lot of time today. So iTunes Radio is the rumored, as it was previously dubbed, iRadio service that Apple unveiled today. And it's only US based right now, and it's going to be ad supported. Now, they mentioned that if you have an iTunes Match account, then the ads will not be present. So that's a good thing. If you're already an iTunes Match subscriber, you will get ad-free iOS 7. And
which is really nice.
Or ad-free, not iOS 7, ad-free iTunes Radio. That would be horrible if iOS 7 was ad-supported.
Yeah, right.
And you also do have a new sharing tab. So if you want to share something, usually you'd bring up a message that said tweet, mail, message, whatever. Well, there's also Flickr in there now, and then you have AirDrop options as well above that. So any share menu, you can just AirDrop that, I guess, just from right there. Now, another interesting thing here is Apple has integrated a completely new take on the camera app. So you swipe left to right to get to your photos, your video capturing. Then they also have a squared mode that you can take, for lack of a better term, Instagram-esque pictures.
Perfect squares.
With filters on them. And then you can swipe to the panorama mode as well, which is very cool. A lot of new features in Safari here. We do have an entirely new take on tabbed browsing. You actually get unlimited tabs now. There's no 10 tab limit. I don't know if it's unlimited though. I don't know. I'm gonna try to open 1,000 tabs and see what it does. You have this new Rolodex feature, that Rolodex looking way to browse through your tabs.
I'll be honest, I don't like the Rolodex.
You have full screen, and this is funny because I think it was Ryan Petrick that developed a tweak like this, where when you scroll inside of an app or whatever, the controls hide away, and that's what they're doing in Safari here. Is so you'll get a full screen view, like if you're scrolling and then you stop,
then
it'll bring the controls away, and then if you want them back, you can just tap and they'll show up again.
Mm-hmm. Well, they do that in iBooks as well too.
Yeah.
And some other apps.
Well, then in their defense, then okay, fine then. Siri got a completely new design in iOS 7.
It looks nice.
The images look a lot cleaner. Siri is flat. Okay, I'll tell you that. Siri,
Well, yeah.
you are flat.
But it's also kind of transparent, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, no, it's got everything has a lot of the design in here implements transparency with like a blurred layer.
Yeah.
And it does look really cool. It does look really cool. It's stuff that we've seen in tweaks before in the past. I mean, in some of the things that I've seen, it's almost Android-esque.
Well,
But not really.
there's some people calling it like that, and what I kind of like to call it is Apple. They've taken away the form.
What do you mean?
They're breaking away from what form that it used to have. You know.
Well, I mean, they're definitely making something different. That's for sure.
Everything's like there's no borders on anything. You know, nothing is stuck in one spot, and everything's kind of.
Yeah. For example, the weather app.
Yeah.
Before the weather app on iOS 6, well, currently, it doesn't even fill up the whole screen. It's just a little tab.
Yeah.
When you open it up. Now the weather app is beautifully redesigned. It's a full screen app. It's got animations. Oh. Speaking of animations, one real quick cool thing.
Yes.
When you use your iPhone, your background, the iPhone responds to your motion.
It moves.
Yeah, it is insane, really insane. If you want to check that out, I will have a video on that here pretty soon. I'm gonna go video crazy in a little bit. But yeah, it moves. It almost gives it like a 3D effect when you're moving your iPhone. The background kind of animates and moves with your motion.
Not only the background, but the icons move to the app icons. Like they kind of move as well.
Yeah,
and everything's just kind of.
Well, no, I think it's a. Well, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see.
I think it goes together.
Yeah, I think it kind of moves it. It gives you a really nice look, though. But if you have not, what? Oh, if you have not seen iOS 7, you can definitely check out a preview of it. Apple.com/iOS/iOS7/design, and you can get a full screenshot right there. I'm actually going to, what? No, I did not want to do that. Why did I do that? I'm going to capture this little screenshot here so I can save it. It all the icons look crazy different.
Yeah,
they do. But like I said, there's gradients still. Nothing's like completely flat. It's just got a different feel to it. I mean, I don't like it. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. I think it's a nice little change. It's definitely revamping things. It is simpler. There's not a lot of detail, and that was, I think, also too more so maybe. That was what people were worried about and were concerned with, is that they like all the detail in the icons. They like the detail.
The shadowing,
they like
everything.
I think that was more of what people were concerned with, is that they like all that detail. And getting rid of that detail, obviously, you know, that's not what they want.
It's not flat like everybody thought it would be.
It's not completely flat. It is flattened out, though.
Yeah.
It is
but
flattened out.
Not like everybody, I don't think anybody thought it was going to.
I mean, there's flat, and then this is in the middle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's definitely in the middle, in my opinion, in our opinion, I guess. It's definitely in the middle. But every single app on the inside and out has been redesigned.
And there's animations on. I don't know if you mentioned that, animations on the weather app now.
Yeah. Animated backgrounds.
I liked the thunder.
Yeah.
When there was a thunderstorm, it shows thunder, which is pretty cool.
How do you show thunder, though?
What do you mean? Lightning. My bad.
How do you show thunder?
I guess I'm a little bit tired, too.
I was going to say, I don't know how to show thunder.
No, but I wonder if it does play any sounds.
Now, real quick, along with iOS 7, and like I said, we're not getting to every feature here today. I'll definitely be bringing you more coverage on iOS 7 on the YouTube videos and stuff, because there's way too much that's different to talk about here that I'm going to have to break it up into several videos as well. But Apple also unveiled OS X Mavericks, and there's no more cats. The cat is out of the bag, as you said earlier.
There you go.
It still doesn't matter. You still took it. You took it earlier. So OS X Mavericks, totally different name. It performs a lot better. There's actually a lot of technical features that improve like CPU performance, thus improving battery life on your computers. It's definitely, they said it's a lot more. It works a lot better with memory. And one other feature too that comes along with this and iOS 7 is iCloud Keychain, and that will sync your password and login information across all of your devices, including Mac, which is incredible. In my opinion, I'm really happy about that. And there is also in OS X. Let's go into one of these posts here. That you have Finder tabs. Finder tabs. If you basically like in Safari, if you open a new tab in the same window, you can browse that tab independently from the other Finder tabs and be able to, open two different folders in one window into separate tabs. And it's definitely a very, very cool feature that I'm pretty happy about. I think it's cool though. I'm probably not going to use it a whole lot, just because I like to be able to switch to the Finder and kind of see all of my windows open independently from each other, so that I can see all the files that are going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just how I feel about that. But OS X Mavericks.
And if you're wondering where Mavericks comes from, it's a place in California.
Did you do research on that?
Well, that's what they said.
Well, yeah.
But I did look it up. It's in Northern California, and
Okay.
it's a surfing location, and that's why in the background, if you see it, it'll have the waves.
Yeah.
So
yeah. At first they
they're
said
going to be doing that.
At first they said it was going to be called OS X Sea Lion, and I was like, yes, because I've been saying that for a long time, just messing
I love
around.
how they even had the picture on the.
Yeah.
You got to watch the keynote.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it, the keynote's live. You can actually go watch it on Apple's website. Just search WWDC keynote, and I'm sure Google will populate plenty of results for you to be able to find that. Because they do have a video up now that you can replay to watch this and see all these features for yourself.
Yep.
For OS X and iOS, in case you missed the keynote, or in case you didn't hear about all the features as of yet. One really cool thing though here is that you have in OS X Mavericks. I want to keep saying Mountain Lion. You you have better multiple display support. So each display will act as its own desktop,
which is really awesome.
So like you have your dock on each display. You can pull up your dock on each display. You can have different full screen apps on each display. I can be watching a full screen movie on one display and working on a PowerPoint presentation on the other.
Not only can you have two, you can have 3 or 4, right?
yeah. You can have multiple than that. Not only 2.
Well, no, I was just letting people know it's and you can have that each display be fully functioning as its own display.
Also in Mavericks, what?
I got shocked.
Oh, good. Also in Mavericks, you have Maps. There's a brand new Maps app that you can use to, search the map, search the world. And what's cool though is you can get let's say you want to go you're going to somewhere in town and you need directions. You can get the directions on Maps for Mac, and then you can send it to your iOS device, and it'll pop up on your lock screen as a notification. You open your lock screen up, and it'll go straight to navigation mode.
Yep.
Pretty awesome.
Pretty awesome.
It's pretty awesome. Let's hope that they make the accuracy in Maps a little better so that I can take advantage of that. But, yeah.
And also something for iOS 7 they're doing is for the App Store. They revamped the App Store a little bit, added some new stuff, and one of them is the apps near me, which
that's kind of cool. Yeah,
you could see the most popular
based
apps based on wherever you are. I can't really think of a real life scenario, but I imagine there's a few.
Here's your real life scenario. Just because. Seriously, I mean, what else is there?
Yeah.
There's really no. This really doesn't impact anybody's lives a lot, but it's just because we can.
Yeah,
and we have that kind
cool.
of demographic information that you can do this now.
Yeah.
That's really it. Now, a lot of the apps have been redesigned in Mavericks too. You have a new looking calendar. There's no leather. Now, like I said, they've done away with all this all these real like finishes like wood and leather. There's none of that anymore in OS X or iOS.
It's almost more soft. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Everything's a little soft and not
I
don't know.
like it.
Yeah, it's nice.
I think it's cool, And, Mavericks and OS X Mavericks and iOS 7 will be available in the fall to the public. Like I said, I will have video preview of iOS 7 here coming up pretty soon. I've already got a hold of the betas through my account from somebody that I know. No, I'm just kidding. But I will be showing you guys previews of that stuff later on here. Apple also did announce a revamp to its MacBook Air line, taking
airline.
MacBook Air line, MacBook Airlines. Thank you for boarding MacBook Airlines. Yeah. So, somebody's here. So yeah. Sorry, my wife just got home and my dogs just walked in. Go, Petey, go. So anyway, brand new MacBook Airs. You have much better battery life now. The 11-inch MacBook Air actually went from 5 hours of battery life to 9 hours of battery life.
What?
And the 13-inch went from 7 hours to 12 hours. So you can literally use the 13-inch MacBook Air all day long, which is pretty cool.
Or at least half the day.
Or at least half. I mean, all of your day that you're out and about, probably.
Definitely all day long.
Anything that matters, you probably have enough battery power to do that with. They also announced a brand new Mac Pro, which takes on a completely new design. It's actually really reminiscent of the Cube model that they had a long time ago. But this is like a circular cylinder, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a cylinder design, and it's completely... you can upgrade it and interchange parts and stuff like that. It definitely
it supports 4K video.
Yeah, no,
which is awesome.
that is also that's not only that has to do with the internals obviously as well, but it's going to be a great computer for pros, and that should be available later this year, as they said.
The lights on the front. I was looking at it, and the lights on the front are motion detected.
They have images on the website, right? Yeah. So you can go to apple.com to see all these high res images.
Nice.
Yeah, it does look really cool. It looks futuristic, and
definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely open for that look. I probably won't buy one. I really just don't have a need for another tower. I'm kind of disappointed that we didn't get a new Thunderbolt display, because that's what I've been waiting for. Is a new Thunderbolt display to come out? So
4K maybe. I don't know.
Well, whatever.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, maybe that's what's going to happen soon.
Well, I would hope so, that they're moving in that direction. I mean, 4K is kind of not useful for everybody.
No.
It is
but
definitely.
Why not?
Yeah. I guess you got a point there. It's definitely useful for professionals that are doing that kind of video work and stuff like that. But really, your average person doesn't really need a 4K display.
Yeah.
And like I said, I wish we had time to go over all of these features here, but I will be sure to post links to all the articles that we were discussing today.
There's so many of them.
In the description of this video on YouTube, and also the article for this podcast. There's a lot going on. And there's also there's new SDKs or new APIs for developers for iOS 7. Now Apple didn't actually note anything about like notification center widgets, which I was kind of disappointed about. They didn't say anything about that. So, whatever, that is what it is. There's no openness for iOS. It's still locked down like it was. These APIs may provide better integration with like third-party apps and stuff like that, but other than that.
And the widgets, or the weather widget, wasn't in the notification screen.
Yeah, I'm sure you can enable that, though.
Well, I'm not sure. Maybe it's going to be in the, what are they calling it? The control center? Control center.
Well, I don't think that there's a lot of room in there for that, actually. But here's actually an interesting new feature that Apple announced. It's called Activation Lock.
Mm-hmm.
So Activation Lock basically turns your stolen iPhone into a brick.
Yeah.
So basically. I mean, obviously, if somebody steals your iPhone, it sucks anyway. You know what I mean? Like, you're still out an iPhone, and that doesn't change the fact that your iPhone's gone. But you can make it so it's completely useless. So, okay,
Yeah, completely.
Somebody steals your iPhone. You go to iCloud.com. You can turn on activation lock through Find My iPhone, and it'll lock it and bring up this little white screen that makes them have to enter your Apple ID and your password to be able to get into the phone to use it.
Yep.
Now, even if they restore the device, they'll still have to do that.
Yep.
So it's pretty much locked for good, and they won't be able to activate it anywhere. They won't be able to do anything with it. It's just a brick at that point. Now, I don't think Apple's intention was to release this to, say, be a useful feature. They're putting this out there so that they can let people that like to steal people's iPhones, hey, this is happening now, so you might not want to steal iPhones. It's not really worth it. Not really worth it for you anymore.
Go steal an Android phone, and
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that will definitely help prevent some of these sad stories about people's iPhones getting stolen
or just lost.
Lost. Yeah. But it won't prevent people from losing their iPhones. It'll help prevent people from stealing them.
It'll possibly help you find your iPhone if you've lost it.
Well, that's always been a part of it, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Another thing that I want to touch on real quick is iCloud, or I work for iCloud. If you use the iWork applications from Apple, you can actually, you can currently sync them between your iPhone or your Mac and your iOS devices or whatever. Now you can actually edit iWork stuff on iCloud.com. So you have a full editing suite. So I can edit like Word documents. I can make presentations, everything like that. Right from any web browser, whether that be on Mac or PC, you can do it all right there, and it'll sync between all of your devices as you would expect with the iCloud integration. So that is definitely a pretty cool feature. Now, some of the gestures here too, you can actually swipe from the edges of your iPhone. As it says right here on this article, a left edge swipe will go back to the previous screen. iOS 7 will also feature multiple pages in folders. So you can have, that's another tweak, Infinifolders.
Yeah.
You can have pages of icons in folders. Man, this podcast has been nothing but a jumping around different feature sets because we've been so unorganized.
There's so many of them, though.
There's
a whole lot of them that go hand in hand together.
I think that this is the biggest update. This is what people wanted, though.
Since
you know what I mean?
bread.
Like, okay, so people were mad about iOS 6. It wasn't that big of an update. People were kind of saying the same thing about. Pretty much all the iOSs had this is the biggest one. There is no bigger update than iOS 7. You're getting tons of new features. You're getting a completely redesigned user interface,
which is nice. You gotta check it out. It does look nice.
I'm looking forward to checking it out pretty soon here on my iPhone. I will definitely be installing it. So let's see. All right. Well, that just about wraps it up for this podcast. I just wanted to give you guys kind of a little feature update, or not a feature update, like kind of give you guys an idea, a rundown of what happened at WWDC 2013 keynote this year. A bunch of new features for iOS. I really wish we had more time to explain them all to you, but that's what the web is for. Go to apple.com. You can see all the brand new features in iOS 7 and OS X Mavericks and the new Mac Pro. You can see the specs on the new MacBook Airs. You can see all of that stuff on there.
And watch all the videos.
Yeah, and you can watch the entire keynote video over there too. So, and I believe if you go to apple.com, that's right there on the homepage. You can check out all of those links right there. So definitely be sure to check that out. I definitely recommend that you do that so you can get a better feel of what's coming this fall. All of this stuff will be available this fall. Of course, the new MacBook Airs are actually shipping now, as well as I forgot to mention there's a new time capsule and a new Airport Extreme.
Yes.
With a different design. The Mac Pro will come out later this year, and both of these desktop and mobile operating systems will be released in the fall, along with new iOS devices more than likely.
And new Siri integration in cars, and they've got a lineup of car manufacturers that are
there's just so
on
much
top of it.
So much we didn't get a chance to go over.
But you can always check out the videos because there's more coming.
Yeah, and this podcast was already kind of long, so geez. Sorry for not running over everything, you guys, but I really hope that you go check it all out for yourself on Apple's website. Stay tuned to listen next week, and we'll go over some of our favorite features in iOS 7. Thanks again for listening. Be sure to rate the podcast, subscribe to it on iTunes. We will catch you guys next week.
See ya.